Hello, it's me again. Um, Good evening. Thank you for making all the day through the program, and also we hope that from the Far City perspective, you get to know a little bit more about what's the vision, why it's important to engage with local authorities, how we're trying to make it operational with the full stack, and many other things that you might be discussing with the team. And also start to make the connections, right? I don't know if you remember the first day we wanted you to make between the people that make stuff, the people that think about making stuff, and the different perspectives sometimes that are around what we all do together, which is trying to develop technologies, but also make those technologies significant for communities, for regions, for cities. So we hope that along every day you get, experience that in the fest, which is intentionally done like that. We even within the teams we're having that experience. You don't want to know details about it, but it's been a journey as well. So this last item of the day actually is not my last one, but the last track of the day for Fab City, correct? Yeah, yeah. So is the launching of well, it's the opening. We launched already the Master in Design for Distributed Innovation, but it's the opening today. We have a group of students that Josefina are going to tell you more details about it, but I just want to give you a little bit of context on the importance of this program. Yeah, I was part of the class before the FAB Academy started. So I was part of the experiment of what the FAB Academy could become. And and I remember by that time there were like 15, 20 Fab Labs in the world when we started that experiment during the class of Neil. And that led to the launching of the Fab Academy for the first time in 2009. And Beno and Victor are around, and maybe some other people that are one of the first graduates from Fab Academy are here still. But what has been super interesting is to see how Fab Labs started to grow. There was the places, the infrastructure, the machines, but without the Fab Academy, they wouldn't become what they are. That 100%. The program is, I remember the pitch of the Fab Labs, this connected community. The first years there was no Fab Academy. We put the Polycom and hoping for someone to show up in the other side of the world. Only like 5-6 people connected, and there was not really like that sense of real community, to be honest. It was the Fab Academy that started to create that you know thread. And then now here in the room, how many graduates of the Fab Academy are? Yeah, like half of the room. uh, Anyone thinking on studying the Fab Academy in the future? Yeah, and some candidates as well. So it has been really fundamental for the development of a network, right? Again, like a network that is not a room with shiny machines or dots in a map. It's actually people powering them, developing them, and then kind of developing a community with it. So from that experience, we recognize the value of what the education has into the development of a community. And we believe that as important as the Fab Academy is, a program focused on design for Fab cities, or for the logics of Fab cities. It's not mastering Fab cities. It's the design in the logic of Fab city, distributed design, distributed manufacturing, innovation, applied innovation, prototyping in the city with communities was needed. Just after many discussions, actually, the name is a placeholder. Like mastering design for distributed innovation might be called also the Design Academy in some point. So this is becoming part also of the Academy, which is the offer that is contains the Fab Academy, the Fabric Academy, the Bio Academy, the Agri Academy, and the Fab All-In that you're gonna see tonight. So here we are, starting the first year of the program. We are doing this as a master in collaboration with the Institute for Advanced Architecture of Catalonia, with the Fab Foundation, with Fab Lab Barcelona. There are many people involved in making this program happen. we want to be inspired by the Fab Academy, but not make it so oriented in technology development, but more into projects that have a direct impact in their context, no? in cities. So this is a new experiment. It's a new offering from the network. Who are part of the program this year? Who is enrolled? 1, 2, 3. Victor, I thought like, Victor, you're here. You see? And online, and we have a few, 10 students online, no? So we hope that this program becomes also the vehicle to develop a community that complements all the efforts of other programs and Fab Labs, and bring these technologies to cities and to other people. No? So similarly, that the Fab Academy has been instrumental to strengthen, to help Fab Labs to grow. We are convinced that this Design Academy, the Master in Design for Distributed Innovation, will do for Fab cities. I co-direct this program together with Tomás Vivanco, who is now in Barcelona, right? This is co-produced by the Fab City Foundation and all the partners, as I mentioned before. It's a hell of an effort, and especially a lot of coordination done by Josefina Nano. It's a graduate on one of the programs I teach as well. Amazing students from the Master in Design for Emerging Future. So, Jose, the stage is yours. Thank you.
Hi, thank you all. Well, I'm gonna present Kate. I'm kind of in the backstage of everything. So Kate Armstrong, she's gonna lead this panel and we're gonna keep with.
Okay, yeah, my pleasure. So, okay. Hi, everyone. It's kind of been a big day for everybody, I think. So we're going to be very chilled in the next kind of hour or so with our presentations. The aim of today is to give you some kind of welcome into the ecosystem which is being developed in many parts of the world, responding to the new need for design to step up, right? This field that has grown hand in hand with industrialization now needs to start to grow hand in hand with ecosystems, communities, and technologies. And today I've kind of curated a panel for you with 4 amazing people who are here in Bali, 4 amazing projects, I should say, because we have 9 speakers in total. And the aim is to give you a glimpse into some of the ways in which designers are rethinking how they actually activate communities and technologies and the ecosystem around them. So the main aim of this is also to connect with our 10 students online. Welcome to Bali, to the 10 students, I think you're here. And also to connect all of us together under this idea of what design can do for us as a community and the communities around us. So I want to give 2 kind of prefaces to this. One is that I've been involved with a project in Fab Lab Barcelona at IAC called Distributed Design Platform for some years now. And we started this, and there's some people in the house, I think maybe Enrico, I saw some people here who have been involved in this project for a long time. And it started as a way to look at the technologies that we were developing inside Fab Labs as something more than just the bits and pieces of a machine. You know, what do these do outside the Fab Lab, and how does it work that we can use design to rethink our production paradigm? What happened during the kind of 4 years that I was involved in this project was that we started to see themes popping up that were not anything to do with a Fab Lab and the technology. We start seeing things like circularity. We start seeing things like community development. We start seeing things like, I don't know, at one point we also had somebody making products out of human excrement. You know, we have this really incredible and quite offensive in some cases take on design. And all of this, whilst it was not necessarily directly related to the technology, was in fact being born inside Fab Labs and maker spaces. So this kind of really chose our way forward as to how the platform should support design and could support design. And this meant that through events and awards and programs, this platform has become part of really pushing this idea of distributing design. moving design away from centralized systems and really pushing it towards people and communities to be involved in the design process. The second thing I want to bring up is really quickly the Fab Island Challenge. So many of you are also here for the Fab Island Challenge, and this has been a crazy experiment to bring this idea of distributed design to Bali. So we've connected with 10 different organizations locally, and we're using this idea of distributed design. So design beyond just producing products, but design that produces systems, communities, ways of engaging with the natural world around us. We're using this idea to really push and accelerate a regenerative economy here on the island of Bali. So I encourage, if you're not involved in the Fab Island Challenge already, I encourage you to go downstairs 2 p.m., 4 p.m. tomorrow, down in the Fab City Hub, so you can go across and then down, and go and check out what they're doing, and also share your knowledge, because design is not about one person. Design is about multiple perspectives coming together. And I hope that that's what you're going to see with our speakers. We have 4 speakers coming from 4 places. We have an amazing selection of very different kinds of projects, and I'm going to ask them to present for you around 7 minutes. We're going to hear from each of them. And then afterwards, we're going to sit down here, maybe grab a beer, and have a discussion with you all and the people online. So keep your questions in mind, because we're going to be answering them and discussing them. And yeah, I think let's start. So our first speaker is the Futuring Toolkit, all the way from Ljubljana, Slovenia, and they are actually one of our newest Fab cities as well. So this is super exciting.
Thank you, Kate. So yes, here we are from Ljubljana, Slovenia, Europe. I must say, I wish you great luck. I'm sure it was going to be a great program, new master program. I'm actually a teacher at the Academy of Fine Arts and Design at the University of Ljubljana. And these are Tamara and Jean, and both were my brilliant students. And of course, I use past tense. Today, they are independent designers, theoreticians, and working design researchers. And I think that, yeah, I'm very, very proud of them. We are working together, collaborating, and it's you can see how far actually you can go learning from each other. And I think this is really what is important part of the education. It's really not just saying stuff, but actually learning from each other. So yes, oh, Jean, thank you. About our work that we did in Ljubljana. This was actually done for the Biennial of Design. This is one of the oldest industrial design. It started as in the industrial design. Today is Biennial of Design in Europe. And the commission that we actually get was kind of asking us, okay, so everything we do actually has a kind of a footprint. It has an influence on our environment, on our society. And of course, cultural production is no exception. So the answer was, can we make this more sustainable? Can we make this more regenerative? And we got invited by brilliant actually curator from England, Jane Withers. And she was kind of saying, okay, can you do something about it? Can you measure something? Can you actually show us in a way, or not, let's say the way, but can you make the comparison with last biennial, with this biennial? And of course, there were a lot of different production groups working on the biennial, and we were kind of leading, let's say, the way, or showing them the way, what to rethink, what to be agile about, what to actually avoid, and so on. So this was our agenda. And when we started thinking about it, what to do with this knowledge, because we were starting gathering different knowledge, talking to different communities, talking, of course, to different experts, and suddenly we decided, okay, we have so much knowledge, we measured so much, what can we do? And the answer was, can we make a toolkit so we get something tangible? We came with something that could be then distributed widely as possible, and everyone can use it. And one of the most important things was how anyone can also contribute to it. So this was kind of an initiative behind it, and now Jean will take over to explain a bit more about our steps that we did.
Hi, everyone. As Barbara said, the objective of the commission was to use the biennial as a platform to investigate its futures, its practices, and seek out ways to make it more sustainable. we started researching existing practices all around the world and realized that there is a lot of knowledge that's spread out, but there is no infrastructure that would kind of connect that knowledge. So in the 6 months that we were investigating this and the 6 months we had to kind of finish the project, we quickly realized there's no way to do that in 6 months. It's way too short of amount of time. So we wanted to bring all the research that was done thus far and collect it in an open-ended document that would be able to be distributed and be able to grow with other experts, other institutions as they started using it, give us feedback, and kind of create loops of knowledge that would continue growing. There were initiatives to kind of also create an online platform, which is something that we're currently fighting for, to really create a hub of knowledge for sustainable cultural production. But yeah, that's in its very early stages right now.
Yeah, so here you can see this toolkit. And next to that, we also made some calculations about this environmental footprint of the last biennial. And we actually compared it with what we did for this year's edition. And then we showed with some infographics what the difference was, how much we managed to cut it down. And we focused on the main polluters, which were energy, travel, and materials that were used for the exhibition. Another thing was a live infographic, which you can see on the picture here. This was actually like an interactive infographic where we gathered some information about how visitors came to the museum and where from. So this was in a way a nice reminder for the visitors to think about their day-to-day decisions on how to travel around. And on the other hand, it is a valuable database for the museum to later on see where the visitors come from and how they travel, because this is also one aspect of the sustainable transition for the museum. They also have to think about how the visitors come to visit it. And then another part of the project was audio guides. Here, this was a really interesting thing, because usually at the exhibitions, we don't see or learn about the process behind it, behind building the exhibition. And here we wanted to expose curatorial and design decisions behind them. Behind it, so people could actually see how we managed to minimize the footprint and then learn from it and maybe apply it in their own projects. Last but not least, we were really, really happy that after our exploration of this 6 months exploration and research, we managed to actually let's say, convince, or they, let's say, understood our efforts. And Museum of Architecture and Design, who commissioned this, decided to sign the pledge from UN, so that the neutrality, they actually combined it to, in a way that they understand that the climate action is something that museums have to tackle, because museums has really strong, they can have a pivotal role in order to educate, to how to understand, how to actually change the behavior. And so they decided to take the role. They wanted to take the lead for all the Slovenian museums in order to change the production, change the cultural production, and of course change the education in our behavior. So this was like a first step right now, and by 2030 they have to actually cut it down now, the emissions of the carbon footprint to 50%, for 50%, and by 2050 to zero, and hopefully they will actually be much quicker. So yeah, so in a way, our effort can be very, very tangible. We are hoping that it's going to be even more tangible. There is actually the website where you can download our toolkit. Do use it, do write us back. We would like to have the feedback Maybe one more thing that we did here at Bali when Katie invited us, we actually built on our toolkit because we have one very strong part is on material, and here we went with localities and how to understand what the local materials are. So we are expanding our toolkit constantly and actually to also educating people about it. So thank you very much. This is from our side.
Okay, thank you very much for this great explanation of how we are using design outside, obviously the Fab Lab, but also I think what's really interesting here is this idea of openness, the idea of creating toolkits, creating spaces, creating open resources. And we will discuss this a little bit later, but I think that that's a great introduction for us. Our next project is Domingo Club. So I have two.
Are waiting for the Zoom currently. Yeah. If not, we can share.
Just so everyone's aware, this is Tomas Vivanco, co-director of the program, just co-directing also the presentations this evening. So just so everyone is aware as to where it's coming from. Hola! Yeah, so this is the joy of the program, no? We're in, I think, 6 different locations this evening. Okay. Can we get this other microphone or no? Anyone? Team?
That's great. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you.
So, hi everyone. We are Maud Bozier and Antoine Jonard for the Domingo Club. We are from Belgium and now based in Barcelona in Spain. And today we're gonna talk about teaming up with mushrooms to ferment your protein-rich superfood, aka tempeh. As you know, we are facing a climate crisis that pushing us, among other things, to shift towards a plant-based food diet. And I think as designers, we really like to talk about food, as it is a great topic to bring people together and to talk about environmental issues.
So what we seek is to have solutions that are resilient, that are local, so to produce affordable and nutritious food so that it can nourish our communities, but also our planet. So while we were opening those discussions, we were ourselves like finding new technologies or more ancient technologies like fermentation processes and collaborating with microorganisms.
Yeah, so it's all started when we were living in Amsterdam, when we discovered this institute, the Shima, where they have an organic shop. They organize workshops, talks, and we discovered about different fermentation, different food. And one that got our interest is tempeh. Tempeh is fermented beans, fermented with mushroom. So the white part that you can see on this image is the mycelium, the roots of the mushrooms that develops on the beans, feed on the beans, and pre-digest all of it, so our body can absorb all of the nutrients that the beans already contains. So legumes such as soybeans, chickpea, rice, lentils have a lot of proteins that are not accessible without that fermentation. To give you a glimpse on how to make tempeh, so then we can go further. So you would cook the beans, introduce the mushroom spores. This mushroom is called rhizopus. So you inoculate the beans, you let it ferment for 2 days. When it's fully white, that means that the mycelium colonized the beans. Your tempeh is ready to eat, to be cooked, and to have it.
Yeah, so this is like few examples that we, so when we cook tempeh, that you can have a better taste in mind about it. So we do pizza tempeh with peanuts, with peanuts. We do risotto with chickpea tempeh. We did like a regular dish with, it was soybean tempeh maybe,
I think so,
and barbecue tempeh with black beans tempeh. And so it's, of course, delicious. I think you may have already tempeh, as it's from Indonesia, so you may not know him. So the challenge here is that this food comes from Indonesia, and so it ferments here because Indonesia has a tropical climate, so the mushroom can grow easily. So our challenge to eat tempeh in other places is how we can ferment, how we can bring the Indonesian climate where we were based, so in Barcelona.
Because as you know, here is hot and humid, which is perfect for the growth of the mycelium.
So at that time, we were also educating ourselves with the Fab Labs. So me in Amsterdam and Antoine did the Fab Academy in Barcelona. So with our new maker skills, we feel comfortable to start to prototype our own fermenter. So we started very basically to prototype. So we did our custom-made PCB. We use a heating pad, a fan, and a temperature sensor. We didn't control the humidity because we use a mold that keep the humidity. So no need to monitor it. And yeah, so with this technology we had access to, we managed to grow our own tempeh at home.
And then we thought, if we can make that for ourselves in order to produce our own food, with the Fab Lab tools, we can make it for other people. And that's where we started to think, let's open source everything. Let's share it as much as we can with other people. So we can go from a one to many people to many to many. And if we can make it, you can make it. You can share it with your friends. You can share the files. You can share the food. You can discuss all about it and try to solve the current problems that we have with the climate crisis, actually. And that's how we ended up with the first model, the fermenter lab, as we call it now. That picture was taken in our studio in Barcelona, where you can see like it's plywood box with the electronics that you have seen. In it, we can make up to 3 kilograms of tempeh per batch. So that was enough for us to start and to share food with our friends and to start to discuss about it and to get feedback about this idea of bringing in Indonesian food in Europe or elsewhere in the world, and to use the techniques to see if that makes sense for people, basically.
So it used the technology present in a Fab Lab, so the PCB making and soldering, the CNC cutting for the cabinet, for the enclosure, the laser cutter for the shelves, and some 3D parts to complement the design. So when we had this first prototype, we started to use it, we started to share with people, with the community, and we received feedback from ourselves, but also from others. So we continued to develop this design, and we end up with a second version that we wanted more small, more compact. So because the idea is also to have people to make tempeh at home. So we wanted something that fits in every kitchen. And we also improved the materiality. We wanted to go a bit further also with the choice of materials. So here, instead of using plywood, we use a product that is called Valchromat. It's from Portugal, so close to Spain. And it's basically the new generation of MDF with natural glue and natural colors. Yes.
Yeah, so there is a detail. Like, it now has an integrated screen. It's easy for people to set a fermentation program, to set a timer, so you don't have to overthink about how it can go. It still has the same component as the first version. So we try to always use very basic component that we can understand, repair, and modify if we need to. So there is the fan, the heating pad as before, the custom PCB we have made like its smaller version to fit into the new design, the temperature sensor. The first version, like for the anecdote, had ESP32 with a Wi-Fi antenna, so we were controlling it with our phone. I think it was easier, like we don't need to add an extra display. We all have a display in our pocket, so that was the idea to use the current one. But at the end, we prefer to have something calmer that doesn't interfere the food making. So now we just have a device that we can use, no notification, nothing. It's just like a quiet fermentation.
Yeah. And this is very low consumption also in terms of electricity. And everything is to make tempeh. All this technology is to make tempeh.
Because I think that's very important. Like we use these tools, we use the Fab Lab network, we use all of this to make something that makes a lot of sense for us. So as we said, tempeh can make with a lot of different local beans using quite a quick fermentation that enhance the food, that give access to all of this protein for our body. And yeah.
And so we present you the fermenter, our main product. We also want to present you the other project we have developed, which is still tempeh related. Because we also, while we were designing the fermenter, we also were like, okay, but there is maybe a way to not use electricity to ferment tempeh. So what kind of resource we can use? And we think about that our body are very heat generator. So we might use our body heat to ferment tempeh. So from that became the idea to make a fermenter necklace. So basically, you put the beans, your preparation in this little glass petri dish. Then you insert it in this 3D printed necklace, and you wear it for 30 hours against your skin, and the tempeh is fermenting with you doing your activities. So we found it that it was also interesting to bring conversation about food, to be more conscious about food, to see the development of the mushrooms. So it's a kind of a poetic way about fermenting your tempeh. And another project that we have developed is this 3D printed tempeh mold, because so here in Indonesia you use banana leaves to make tempeh. But in our country, the people use usually single-use plastic bags. So to avoid this consumption of waste, we wanted to create a reusable tempeh mold. So we did this collaboration with a tempeh maker from the Netherlands. So we designed a 3D printed mold, and so we were based in Barcelona. She gave some feedback. She had the opportunity to 3D print it in Amsterdam, try it, give new feedback, and then we redesigned it, and then it came this last version.
And then because in Europe, at least, tempeh is not very known yet, we organize tempeh events. So we call them tempeh lunch, where we invite friends, or friends invite friends. We end up being a bunch of people eating tempeh and discussing about its power, about its taste, and to try to create the club, the Domingo Club that we're aiming for, where we all eat tempeh and be conscious about where our food comes from and how to eat better for ourselves and for our planet. Everything we do is documented on our website. Everything is open source. You can go on domingoclub.com to get the files, to read more about everything. We have a documentation section, but we also have a shop section, because we are not all makers. We don't have all access to makerspace or Fab Labs or the knowledge or the time to do it. So we provide also the tools, the ready-made tools, so then you can start to ferment now or tomorrow with the tempeh starter, the fermenter necklace, and everything we do.
Thank you very much. That was us. So thank you for listening.
Okay, so we heard collaboration with museums, and now we've just heard about collaboration with microorganisms. So this is design out of the box, I think, or in the box in this case, in the 3D printed box. Thank you, Rioda. Okay, so our next presentation is coming also from Barcelona, also from the same barrio, but it's a different approach. Our next project is from Diwe, who will be presenting us Remix Collective. So we're going to move from collaboration with microorganisms to collaboration with local production ecosystems and food waste. Okay.
Thank you, Kate. Hello, everyone. Pleasure to be here. I'm in representation of the Remix Collective. We started as a program of Fab Lab, which was gathering local citizens in order to teach them a new approach of how to build with biomaterials. So they teach us some recipes. We were in the 2020 year on the pandemic, so everyone was kind of researching by themselves, and luckily we got few projects working forward. And actually here you can see 1 year later we received this European Prize of Innovation at Ars Electronica named STARTS for collaborative innovation. And this is an example of how the exhibition looked. We had from paper made out of coffee waste and doing posters to bio leather jacket out of orange peels, coffee, bio leather, furniture made of olive pits. So all of these projects consider the production of eco design from local waste from the neighborhood. So this is the team. One of the more active partners end up creating the collective. So yeah, from Anastasia from Fab Lab was kind of the with Marion the facilitators, and then through the other partners of Knife Factory Lab and some clothing design school, from individuals, youth citizens, even local restaurant, which is amazing because they have the local waste and provide for us. So there's a very wide variety of participators that we are just collaborating to propose alternatives of how to produce locally. And the concepts that arise that we wanted to focus on was to start from the local neighborhood of Poblenou, which is where the Fab Lab Barcelona is. And we started mapping all the resources that we could find there. Then we search for those resources and how to produce those objects in order to generate circular waste streams. So we were trying to think, okay, if we found this, let's say, the coffee waste, how can we produce something for the coffee industry just in the neighborhood area? So for us it was perfect because we had access to the Fab Lab. We could produce our prototypes and then reintroduce it as design. So from the least valuable resource, which is trash, which no one wants, we were trying to say, okay, what's the most value we can give, which is could be design, art, because it's subjective, so we try also to engage with the local community. For instance, we are also collaborating with the local gardens of the neighborhood, building some, let's say, solar dehydrators of the waste, and teach some of our recipes to them so they can also produce it. And the whole point is how to work together as a collective in a horizontal management, and how to share the knowledge, co-create together. The whole point is, yes, we want to share all these technologies to everyone, so they can also work with the Fab Labs and explain all these cycles of production, waste, and how to give awareness onto it. So yeah, we are different disciplines of design and sharing all this knowledge through tutorials. Yeah, those are some of the examples of the things we've built. As I said, some furniture made of olive pits and lamps, cookies made out of meat leftovers of the restaurant for the dogs, or this is a 3D printer of vegetables fibers to create cookies that are very healthy. This is the paper made out of the coffee husks, which you can do from packaging to leather and communication. We used mate and eggshells to do lamps. This is the leather jacket of oranges. This is a whole biopantone samples. So we can extract all the pigment out of, let's say, onion peels or coffee or any pigmented vegetables and then produce the colors. So in this case, we just printed our message on a tote bag. This was the case of avocado pits, which you can get a beautiful pink color. And this is the example of how we collaborated with the whole neighborhood. We were at Fab Lab, and those neighborhood places were the providers of some of the waste. And yes, we just started a local network in order to do it. And started running workshops. So through molding and casting and 3D printing, we just share all those recipes. So actually you can go to our Instagram of Remix Collective, you can check our tutorials of YouTube, learn it, or if we are close, we can just do a workshop just to share those techniques. And those are some examples of the exhibitions we've been participating. This is a museum, design museum of Barcelona. You can see there is many different small objects we are showcasing. And it was in the Ars Electronica one. So, sorry, my fault. So yeah, just to share some thoughts on the evolution of the project. Right now, this was, we started cooking in our homes, small examples. We've been lucky enough to share it into international expositions. Right now we are actually in Luxembourg and in Brussels, running some workshops and festivals, so this is very nice. But this is nice for inspiration, let's say, but what we felt was the real challenge was how to put this into society. So from our point of view, we needed to develop the right processes to produce objects that have the real value that can be sold and manufactured in the neighborhood. So what we are focusing now is, okay, let's try to escalate all this and let's see if we can produce 1,000 pieces of a project and if it's really cost efficient. So we've done some examples. We did for 1 month with the Naive team, we did a factory of biomaterials. We produced 1,500 unique pieces of beautiful translucent shapes that end up in a mango shop in New York as a decoration. And it was, very successful. And we did some project with the design museum also. We did some biomaterials, and with laser cutting, we produce some signs that are right now in the whole museum explaining how to manage the trash or be conscious about the water. So these two examples are, okay, the industry is interested in buying things out of biomaterials, and the museums are interested as a beautiful also discourse through the recycling. And now what we are focusing is, okay, let's get real sustained clients that can get the system running, because the more we produce, the more value we give back to the community. So for now, this is the current challenge, how to escalate all this. But yeah, I think we are on the right path. So that's all for me. Thank you, everyone. Please check it out, collaborate.
So the last word from Diwa was collaborate, and I think that this project is an amazing example of not collaboration with institution, not a collaboration with microorganism, but collaboration with community and people and various kinds of profiles that can build these design ecosystems and get you to get your products on the other side of the world in a commercial place. So our next presentation is a very special one. This one is coming through a project that the Fab City Foundation supported in Hanoi with UNESCO and UN Habitat. So this is called Hanoi Rethink, and we actually have Shell here too, watching, who was part of this program. So thank you for being here. We're really excited to present this project from, I think, some of our youngest representatives that are here as part of the panel. This is from the Circular Living Design Challenge, and they will be presenting their project for you. So please, the stage is yours.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. So first, I want to let you guys watch a video first, and is a brief understanding of our project. So let's see the video first, and then we'll see.
Hanoi, a place that has been known for its traditional craft villages. With the rapid modernization, this cultural charm is fading away from society, while Vietnam is also undergoing grave environmental effects, with noodle grass being one of the culprits.
This has started a burning enthusiasm within us to reinvigorate the quintessence of a vanishing heritage.
Using noodle wrap as the material to lead this resolve.
A shift from tradition to modernity, from rats and bamboo threads to noodle graphs. The traditional threading method of bamboo villages enables us to create products that combine practicality, quality, and cultural appeal, such as fashion accessories, household items, or figures that are exhibit-worthy. Using technology, Midumsang provides intricate and hygienic products. These products are water and heat resistant, up to 170 centigrade.
Our products are and will continue to strive to better society. Through merging the beauties of traditions and modernity, Hanoi bamboo craft villages will be preserved. Through providing the deaf community with technical knowledge, their job prospects will improve. Through teaching the Hanoi youth how to transform old noodle wraps into useful products, the environmental awareness will rise. Through donating our profits to charity, the fates of unfortunate lives will change. With our steady progress, we aim to become a social impact business within the next 5 years. We aspire to represent the voice of the young, ambitious, and visionary Hanoians.
To our international friends, we want Hanoi to be known not just as a city of peace, but a hub of innovation and a breeding ground of creativity. We are the combination of the past
and the future,
the old
and the new,
the tangible
and the intangible.
Midumsang strive to a circular life, because circular living is timely living.
Thank you very much.
Okay, hey guys. So I hope you have had a brief understanding of what we are doing now with our project after watching the video. So for too long, us humans have been working on how to develop sustainably and strive to a better society. We have done many things like setting up goals,
He would like to know, for instance. Highlight now.
Yes. So it has been very interesting because like here tempeh is everywhere in all the warung. You can go in the little shops. So the warung are the family-owned shops. So it could be a restaurant or a food shop, and they make tempeh or they receive tempeh from another tempeh producer, and they're everywhere. But because they're everywhere and ready out of the shelf, they don't really know how to make it. They don't really know that we can make it with other legumes than the soybeans. And we are part of a group that's called Tempe Movement, initiated by an Indonesian guy, Diriando, that he made a PhD on tempeh fermentation. So it's like the guru of tempeh from here. And he's trying to export the tempeh practices out of Indonesia to import the tempeh practices from outside of the world inside back in Indonesia. So learning that we can make tempeh with different legumes because locals don't really know about it. They even don't really know that tempeh is made with fungi. Like for them, it's just like the white thingy that you can have in the warung. That is the best product to face the meat consumption, but they don't really know the process of it. So as soon as we talk about them, we show our interest that we come from another side of the world and we are like super deep into tempeh. Like it could be like a bit curious to them. We have like very good discussion and we can exchange and they really like it and we really like it also. Like if you want to add something. Yeah. Yeah.
So this was the Indonesian part, and you ask how you can bring the tempeh community in Iceland. So I would suggest you to locally produce the fermenter and to organize then a workshop with us, for example. Then to start to explain why it's a good solution, why it's a good food solution, tempeh, and how we can decentralize it and how you can easily ferment it at home, and then understand also how you can build the machine with the Fab Lab technologies. Yes.
And also like because tempeh is fermented in 24, 40 hours, so it's very quick for a fermentation and basically nothing bad could happen in such a short time. So the mushroom colonize the beans very quick. The bad bacteria don't have time to install themselves. So it's very nice for an educational purposes. And at the end, you have a product that is as high in protein as beef. So it's very nice for kids, for other people.
Well, Thank you very much. Alessandra, my friend, she made a mistake that nobody should ever hand me a mic because Okay, Vietnam, you are doing such a very inspiring project, and thank you for this. It's the knowledge how to make your beautiful hats. Are you sharing that with the world? If we would be doing that also in other parts of the world with noodle packaging, is that something that you have considered? Like, so people would support your project through distributed design?
Okay, can I repeat your question to see if I'm understanding correctly?
Okay,
So you're
repeat
asking.
I will repeat it. Deo! Okay, so sorry, I'm trying to be funny.
Okay.
Yeah. So have you considered like teaching others how to make those beautiful hats, and
Yeah.
that people can contribute to your project?
All right. Yeah. Basically, we are very ready to teach any one of you here who wants to learn how to make these beautiful hats and even other products, which is displayed here. And we are also making videos on how to make these simple products. This might take a very long hours. So I'm just warning, if you were to make this hats, then be very patient with your time and with the work. Yeah, and we are very ready to make videos for our international friends. And yeah, this year we are also focusing more on spreading our message to friends worldwide. So yeah, we would make more videos on how to make these beautiful products, especially these hats. Yeah, yeah. Remember to store the noodle graphs at home so you can make these products more easily.
So
Thank you.
everybody needs to eat a lot of noodles. That's the idea. Mai has a question. I'm going here. Yeah.
So I'm Mai from Vietnam, and I'm very inspired by all your projects and how you adopted a distributed approach. And my question is, what are the lessons you have learned or experience gained by using a distributed design approach? Could you share with us anything unexpected along the way that you would like people to maybe be aware of? Because not everyone is. I mean, I know we're a special bunch, and we're all for open source, and giving, like, empowering, giving away knowledge to other people. But out there, I think it's we're still like a small minority, and so by talking to like the wider community, what are the reactions that you have got, and how did you react to those? Yeah, that's my question.
Who would like to start? Diwe? Antoine? Okay.
You can answer it first.
I would say that the most interesting in this part to distribute your design in the also very early stage while you're still making it, like it's not completely finished, but you already shared the first version, so you get feedback directly from it. And it's also super nice to see the enthusiasm of the people. So because most of the time you would wait that your product is ready before launching it, but with this, with open sourcing the files directly, we received very good feedback also from the people. Oh, it's so cool! I want to make it also. How I can make it, or question like that. And so it's nice to feel the reaction of the people directly. I think it's my main interest in this distributed design also movement.
Just to add that in our case, like if the people have the interest to make the machine, at the end they're awarded with a tempeh. And just by making your food, it's like very they really like to make it just because at the end they can have food every day, every week, and share it also. So it's very direct, and in I think in that context, it's easier to talk about digital fabrication, about machine, about tools, because we still talk about food, and food is easier to talk about, I guess.
Yeah, some of my thoughts on this. Yeah, we've been facing some of those challenges because, yes, the idea is to share as much of the knowledge we have. And then by opening our recipes since the beginning, even when they are not kind of finished, the good thing is, okay, for the basics, anyone can get there. So it's the offer we give to get them excited in order to do things. But then it's really very difficult to have a very good product, let's say, to go to the market. So my personal view on this is we should give for free the starting point. Let's say everyone can do the basic of all of those recipes so we can expand the collective. But then in our case, each of our projects have its own, let's say, innovation evolution of the ideas that it's better than those. So then we are facing this moment in which each of our projects have kind of the intellectual property of some research we have done. So we also kind of want to not tell some of our secrets in order to, okay, if we want to develop this project to be in the market, we know a little bit more than the rest. But the other point of view of this is, for us, it's a challenge. So we have to be much faster and better and improve the basics in order to have something better to offer. If we don't do this extra effort of innovation, everyone could catch up with us. So I think it's interesting the both sides. Share as much as you can, and so then it pushes you to get much farther away, and then you can, yes, you keep for yourself, or maybe actually we can do some workshops. So then you have some part of return on your research, but so you have your own small community growing, and at some point you can have a product on the market. So those are some of our challenges right now. Yeah.
Basically, I think his answer is very similar to us because, as I have stated, we are very welcoming people to learn, and we are ready to make any videos on the basics to make these products. And we've actually uploaded some of our products on some of the videos to make our products on our page. You can see. And yeah, I agree that we should be more updated and we should keep innovate more. And I think that our challenge now is that we want to mass produce it so we can have more profit and help more people around our country, and we can donate it to more funds. And the thing is, for now, there is a lack of human resources. We have tried many ways to teach people, but it's very hard, even though it's offline learning, and that's the easiest way to learn it, but it's still very hard for a lot of people. So the thing is that we are trying to provide the youth with the basics, and we are working with more advanced and experts in the traditional villages so that they can mass produce these products. And later on, when we have more sophisticated products, then we can share it more with the public. And I think that when we have already mass produced our products, and we will definitely have a lot more to offer to the world, so we can teach them more, so they can be, they can form a lifestyle at their own homes, not only by buying our products that they are living sustainably, but also they can recycle it at their own home so that they can form their habits. And I think it create a circular life for everyone around us. Yeah, thank you.
Sorry, I will just like, because it's really interesting what you were saying about how it was in a way hard to, it is hard to learn, because it is reminded me of when we put it out there, when we were working on our toolkit and the guidelines, we of course were doing it with our community, with production platform, and we had like this alpha and beta and so on version. And we constantly were asking, give us back feedback in a way, how is it hard to use, what do you need for us, and so on. And people were in a way using it and reading it, but what most of the feedback that we got from the first stages was like, okay, we are using this and this, can you calculate it for us? So we were like, no, it's actually, you should be using our toolkit in order to calculate it by yourself. So you're actually using it and learning it and doing the steps. So the feedback from these that we got is actually to make it even more tangible, how to use it, to make it even more, okay, when you start, how you can do it. So that was something that we learned out of it. So to make it really step by step and to see what is low hanging fruit. So you can just grab it and you're getting this cutting of, I don't know, water footprint or carbon footprint and so on. So this was quite a valuable lesson. So sometimes you get a feedback that you might not be expecting, and then how you can transform it in order, because it's really something that you're using, learning. So it's not that someone else is doing for you. So, but you're makers, you know how it is. So.
Well, after hearing all the answers, I think the key to the distributed design process, our process, is slow but steady. We try one time, we fail. We try the second time, we fail. But what I find very admirable that we have the passions in ourselves and we keep trying. And yeah, that is what being cool of a sustainable designers.
Amazing. I could not have said it better myself. So I think that, I mean, today, Jose and I, we really wanted to present, and also Tomas, we really wanted to present some ideas, some food for thought, or some food for food in the case of Tempe, but some really small ideas, small little cheaps of what is potentially going to be the premise and the development of the projects that will happen inside the MDDI program. So we have this amazing community, and we're here in the Bali Fab Fest kind of for the first time in 2 years connecting with that amazing community. And there are so many people in this space that are designing in a distributed manner and doing distributed innovation. What is important about all of these projects and about the way that the program is set up is that it is distributed actually across the world. So we have Victor, where are you going to be? Where is your node? In Peru? We have, yeah? In Lima? Yeah. And we have, let's go to one on the other side. Where is yours, Annie? In Montreal. Gustav, where is yours? Oh, sorry, Gabe, where is yours? In Chicago. And we have online, I think, where are the other ones? Shanghai, Shenzhen, Barcelona, India, Sweden, so all over. So much like the programs that we have inside the Fab Academy, this program is completely distributed. And what I'm really excited about seeing is that in the similar way that we've seen projects tonight from all over, we've seen them from Hanoi, from Slovenia, from Indonesia now, I think, and from Barcelona, is that we start to see the stories of the communities in which these projects are being developed. And that for us is really the important part of this. How do we take the technology that we have and how do we create design that serves the communities in which we live? So I want to ask a final question, and you have 1 sentence to answer it, okay, of every single project. And this is how we're going to close, and then you can go and have a beer and go and relax and, I don't know, go and listen to some amazing dubstep that we heard before by Tomas. The question that I want to pose is, which part of your project is design? So it's a little bit cryptic. It's a little bit of a trick question, but which part of your project do you see as being the design part of your project?
Okay. Oh, 1 sentence. Fuck.
1 sentence, as quick as possible.
as a designer, my will was to design surfaces and techniques in order to design sustainably. So it's just the concept of it, and then the innovation in order to get this.
I think our main goal is to design the awareness of an unknown solution and to promote it.
Well, since we are the winner of the Circular Living Design Award, I think the design part of our project is to design, to have small steps that design a circular life for not people in Vietnam, but also the people in global.
Yeah, we actually think that everything is designed somehow, and either it's bad or good. We just hope that we're doing good, and that's something that drives us onwards. Yeah.
Awesome. I think I've made my point. No. Okay, so Jose, I want to just invite you up. This is the final part. Just to officially, I think you can say the words, officially launch the MDDI program, which is starting today, tonight, and in the morning elsewhere in the world, obviously. You can take the reins.
I'm a bit shy for these things. I like to be on the backstage, but thank you all for participating. Amazing panel Kate organized. Thank you everyone for your inputs. Basically, I think you're an inspiration. I think you make these programs a reality. Basically, you take the knowledge into actual prototypes. So I think that's amazing. And I think that's an inspiration for all the students that are gonna be part of this first cycle. So we're making it happening together. So this is a first day, then we'll go on with the details. That's what's going on the next days.
So that's it. MDDI officially open. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Tomas Online. Thank you for your inputs. Thank you, Diaz, as well. And please come and see the products and speak with our amazing panelists. And that's all from us. Thank you very much. Good night and good morning. Yeah, Tomas, we need you here. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was amazing. Yeah. I'm around. I'll connect to the Zoom in 2 minutes just to give everyone the guidelines on how are we gonna move forward.